Layla's Game. Chapter 1. It was after school and the girls' basketball team were playing a game against another local school. Everyone in the team really enjoyed playing. The girls loved passing, catching, and dribbling the ball. They all ran around the court as fast as they could. The girls ran with the ball and bounced it at the same time. May was great at this. Amira was really good at catching the ball. She was taller than the other players. She scored points by throwing the ball into the basket. Zara was a fast runner and really keen to play well. She ran all over the court, catching the ball and passing to her teammates. Yet they hardly ever won a game. Leila sat in her wheelchair on the sidelines, watching her school friends. She was happy watching her friends play, even though she couldn't join in. She wished she could play too, but knew she couldn't. She sat watching and cheering the loudest to encourage and support them. They needed all the help they could get. Miss Garcia, who coached the team, knew this as well. She walked over to Leila. "We don't seem to be doing very well again, do we, Leila?" said Miss Garcia. "No," agreed Leila. "I can't understand it." "Neither can I. They're fast enough and keen enough. Maybe I haven't got them playing in the right position." "Oh well, maybe next time," Miss Garcia said, sadly. Leila looked at the scoreboard. "Oh dear," she thought, 14 points down. Then she looked at the timer. There were only 5 more minutes until the end of the game. "Come on!" she shouted, trying to encourage her friends to make a last big effort to win the game. Afterwards, she sat with her friends as they drank their orange juice. They had lost the game. Everyone seemed sad and tired. Leila tried to cheer them up, but it was no use. Leila knew there had to be a reason why her friends hadn't won the game. If only she could think of a way to help them start winning. Leila turned to her best friend, Zara. "Hard luck, Zara," she said. "I thought you all played really well." "Thanks, Leila," replied Zara. "I am disappointed, but thanks for the great support. You cheered louder than anyone." Leila smiled at her friend. She always wanted Zara to do well. She got excited when she saw Zara running fast or making a good pass. But she felt lonely on the sidelines and desperately wanted to join in with her friends. She talked to Zara about this on the way home. "I know, Leila," Zara said. "We all want you to be able to play too." Chapter 2. On Saturday morning, Leila wheeled her chair to the cafe in town to meet her grandfather. Every weekend, they would meet and play games outside the cafe. Sometimes they would play drafts. Sometimes they would play dominoes. Sometimes they would play Ludo. Leila was still thinking hard about how to help her friends when she arrived at the cafe. She saw her grandfather sitting at their usual table. She went over and gave him a big, happy hug. "Ah," Grandfather smiled, "here's my wonderful granddaughter, Leila." "Hello, Grandfather," Leila said. "What game are we playing today?" "Today, my little one, I shall teach you how to play backgammon," he replied. "What's backgammon, Grandfather?" Leila asked. "It's a very old game that is based on strategy," said Grandfather. Leila wasn't sure what strategy meant, so she asked him. "A strategy is a plan for how you're going to play a game," said Grandfather. "And having a strategy means you can change your plan if your opponent does something you don't expect. A good strategy helps you win the game. Do you understand?" Grandfather smiled down at Leila. "I think so," replied Leila, "but I'm not sure how to start making my own strategy." Aha, laughed Grandfather. That's the clever part. What you have to do is look at the different pieces on the board. Then decide on the best way to use them. You have to think about where to place the pieces to stop the other player winning. A good strategy involves thinking about all of the pieces on the board or all of the players in a team. They began their game of backgammon. As they played, Leila kept thinking about Grandfather's brilliant idea of a strategy. This might be a way to help her friends. "Grandfather," Leila asked thoughtfully, "would a strategy help my friends win a game of basketball?" "Absolutely," replied Grandfather. "A good strategy is based on what each member of the team does well. It helps them play better." "Thank you," said Leila. She smiled as she moved her last piece on the board. "And it looks like I've won the game." "Good gracious!" exclaimed Grandfather, laughing and clapping his hands. "However did you manage that?" "I had a strategy," giggled Leila. Chapter 3. By the time Leila got back to school after the weekend, she had a strategy to help her friends. Their next game was in 2 days' time. So, at break, she sat with them and told them about her strategy to play the game and win. It was all based on what her friends were good at. "Zara is quick and can pass really well," Leila explained. "So, she passes to May. Then May can use her dribbling skills to run down the side of the court and pass back to Zara. And then Zara passes to Amira, who's the best at scoring baskets. What do you think?" Her friends stopped eating and looked at her. "Brilliant," said May. "Awesome," agreed Amira. "What a great plan! Let's go and tell Miss Garcia straight away," said Zara, getting up out of her seat. Chapter 4. It was the day of the match. Miss Garcia smiled at Leila and then blew her whistle to begin the game. Leila cheered for her friends. Would her strategy work? Would Zara be able to get her pass to May? And would May be able to dribble past the other team's players? Suddenly, Zara caught the ball. "Zara, pass to May!" Leila roared. She was getting excited. Now she would see if her plan would work. Zara quickly passed the ball to May. May caught it and began bouncing it, running as fast as she could past the other players. Zara zoomed along the court, ready to catch the ball back from May. Amira got herself into position, ready to try and score. Leila held her breath. Nearly there, she thought. She wanted to keep on shouting and cheering, but she didn't want to distract her friends. Zara caught the ball again. She made a great pass to Amira, who leapt up into the air towards the hoop. Amira threw the ball. It curved high up into the air for what seemed to be the longest time before dropping straight through the hoop. "Hurrah!" everyone cheered. Leila threw both arms into the air and shouted louder than she had ever shouted before. The rest of the game went by in a flash. Leila's strategy worked superbly, and her friends won by 9 points. Afterwards, Miss Garcia congratulated the team. "We wouldn't have won without Leila's great plan," said Zara. "You're quite right, Zara," smiled Miss Garcia. "In fact, Leila did so well, I have decided that she should be the joint coach for the team. What does everyone think?" The whole team cheered and clapped. Leila beamed a big, proud smile as Miss Garcia handed her a cap with Coach printed across the front. The next game, Leila found herself in charge of the team. Miss Garcia let her make the decisions. She worked out a strategy beforehand. During the game, she shouted instructions, changing the strategy to match what the other team was doing. It was a close game, but Layla's friends won and everyone cheered. The team all gave Leila a high five as they came off the court. Miss Garcia shook Layla's hand. "Well done again, Leila. You are a great coach and a great addition to the team." "Thanks, Miss Garcia," said Leila. "I love coaching the team, but I still really would love to be able to play as well." "You can," said Miss Garcia. "A new wheelchair basketball club has started on the other side of town. I have told them all about you and your coaching skills. They were impressed with your strategies. They want you to join their mini basketball team as a player." "Brilliant! We can all come and cheer Leila on for a change," laughed May. What a great end to a great day. Leila was so excited. She couldn't wait to go along to the new club and begin playing basketball. Chapter 5. 3 weeks later, Tefo, Pello, Omar, and the girls all stood on the sidelines as the whistle blew. Like lightning, Leila spun her chair neatly around to catch the ball. This was her first game, and she was very excited. "Come on, Leila!" her friends cheered. Leila wheeled her chair as fast as she could, past the other players, and passed to her teammate. She turned her chair again and zipped into position near the basket. The ball was passed back to her. She took careful aim. Her friends held their breath. Leila threw the ball perfectly straight. Whoosh! It dropped through the hoop without even touching the sides. Everyone cheered and clapped as Leila turned, giving her friends a huge grin. She looked over at the crowd and saw her grandfather waving and cheering at his very clever granddaughter. This truly was Leila's game.